you're an intimidating person, in my opinion, right?
Uh-huh.
You seem to have it all figured out, even if you're like, hey, I didn't always have it all figured out. But I look at a person like you and I'm like, how much can you relate to a person like me?
So here's the thing, man. I actually identify 100% with where you're coming from because I used to be there too.
Really?
Yeah. The difference is this. I chose to change.
Okay.
So, and you're a little bit later in this and not deciding to change. But I used to play video games at a high level. I used to collect Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I used to play video games all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I decided I used to be very skinny. I wasn't fat, but I was skinny.
Okay.
And I got picked on in school. I was bullied. And I've said on the podcast before, I think bullying is very good because what bullying does is it lets you know that you're inadequate. And then it forces you almost to make adaptations. You know what I'm saying? If a bully beats you up at school, what are you going to do? Well, you're probably more than likely going to start going to the gym. You're going to learn how to defend yourself. You're going to adapt to the abrasive situation and overcome. The issue is that you've been coddled for far too long in your life. You live with your mom. You haven't really had an incentive to get out there and make more money. You haven't had an incentive to get in shape because no one's really put your ass to the fire and told you, hey, man, you need to change. And the reason why so many people love this podcast is because me and Fresh, we're nerds. We don't run around and say, hey, we're alphas. We always been this way. Hell no.
Nope.
And as a matter of fact, I'll take it a step further. You never want to learn from someone that was a natural because they can't tell you how they got there.
Yep.
They just are naturally good at it. The jocks, whatever it is, the guys that always go women, they're the worst coaches. But us, I was a virgin until I was 18, but I decided right then and there, I'll tell you too. Never forget, it's 2008, May of 2008. I'm sitting in class, an African-American studies class. I was in high school, I was 18 years old and senior year of high school. And this kid behind me, his name was Mike. Remember you, Mike? Thank you for this. He taps me on the back of my tricep right here, right? And at the time I was 6'2", 160 pounds. And he goes, wow, you're really fucking skinny. And like all the girls in class laughed, right? So it was like right there at that moment, I was like, damn, because I had known like, yo, I need to get in the gym. Because like people were shoving me around or whatever. When I played basketball at the time, people were able to box me out easily, whatever. So I was like, damn. So that summer, after I graduated high school, in June, I started going to the gym and I started training. Started watching YouTube videos on how to gain weight, go to the gym, whatever. But it took me feeling this sense of pain and embarrassment for me to realize I need to fucking change. Luckily for me, I did it at 18, but it's never too late to change, man. You're 43. You could definitely make some adaptations. I was playing video games. I was eating pizza. I was drinking a bottle, a Sprite, 2-liter bottle every day back then. And, my dad was telling me you're a fucking loser, whatever it is. So the thing about being a man, and this, I just use that example. That's what stimulated me to change, right? The thing about being a guy is that your reality is a direct reflection of your inadequacies. I'm going to say that again. Your reality is a direct reflection of your inadequacies. So if women don't respect you, if your peers don't respect you, if you're broke, if you're fat, that is literally an outward manifestation of your failures. You know what I'm saying? It shows a lack of discipline, lack of ambition, whatever it is like that. And unfortunately for men, we can't do that because as a man, if you're a loser, society isn't going to coddle you. Maybe your mom will, maybe the girls will say, oh man, you know what they're really saying? Good boy. It's okay. No big deal. But you're not going to get what you want. They're going to tolerate you, but they're not going to respect you. You know what I'm saying? So we got to make some concrete changes. So first we're going to go over the good. You're very nice. You're very polite. You beat an addiction, which is fucking amazing. That's awesome. And you're fucking famous, dude. Now, let's talk about the bad. You're nice. Okay, that niceness seeps into awkwardness. And you're not leveraging your fame whatsoever. And there is no one stupider than someone that is famous and doesn't have money. You should have been leveraged your ability. People recognize you. You've been on TV, dude. You should not be broke at all. You know what I'm saying? There's no excuse for that. And also, you shouldn't be fat either. There's not many things in life that you can control, but your body weight, your image, your personal hygiene, that is something you can't control. Said on the podcast a million times. You have no excuse to be fat in 2021 with all the free information out there on fitness and lifestyle and everything else like that, man. So, number one, you need to lose weight. That's number one, because once you lose weight, it's going to build a certain type of discipline and foundation for you to build upon other endeavors for success. If you can get in shape, be disciplined, it's going to be easy for you to go to work, push yourself, get yourself out of your comfort zone. The gym is merely just a manifestation of your efforts, and you can apply that into real life. So that's number one. That's the foundation, right? Get in the gym. Number two, you need to find another job, bro. You need to make more money. It's unacceptable that you're 43 years old and you have not broken $15,000 per year. That's unacceptable. And quite frankly, you have no business even dealing with women until you get your money on point, especially for what your goal is, which is to get married and have a family. You got to get out your mom's house.
I don't live in my mom's house.
You live by yourself. You live by yourself now?
I have 2 roommates.
Okay, you got to get out of there. You got to live on your own. You know what I'm saying?
My credit is horrible, though, right? Like, I understand what you're saying with that, and I completely agree. And if my credit right now was where I could, but my credit is horrible. So I like some
see what you're doing right now?
Whose fault is that?
No, hold on. You see what you're doing right now? You're making excuses. No one gives a fuck about your excuses, Skippy. I'm being all the way 1,000 with you. No one cares about your excuses. Your credit is bad because you made bad decisions in the past.
You can
So
fix
now-
your credit.
Yeah,
You can fix your credit.
no, but I live with the roommates because I'm trying to fix my credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, with all due respect to that last part, right?
Yep.
I understand what you're trying to say with the motivation thing, and that's totally true, right? But please try to understand that you're saying that to a person that's working on it, right? And if it was as simple as, right, you need to get your own place, but when you're like, I am working on that. I have a job at least, right? And another thing that you're saying, and I think that you'll agree with me on this, and I could be wrong, but don't you agree that when you're depressed, it's easier to put on the pounds? That when you start getting motivated and start feeling better about yourself, that it's easier to lose weight then, because working out helps you feel better about yourself and the depression goes. But that's one of it's an excuse, but it's also a truth. Every time I go to YouTube and I make a video where I say, hey guys, support me or my channel, I'm not doing it the right way, and people don't give a shit about that, because then it then comes off as begging.
Skippy,
right?
Skippy, where do you live?
Ogden, Utah.
Okay. You live in the United States?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have running water?
Yes.
You have electricity?
Mhm.
You have food in the fridge?
Yeah.
Okay, you got nothing to be depressed about. There's children right now that don't even have clothes, that don't have food, that don't have anything. Only in the West do we have this notion that, oh man, it's so tough. Oh my God, I'm sad. I don't know how I feel. The problem is this: you're looking at what you don't have instead of looking at what you do have.
Yes.
And you're making excuses for your inadequacies. Okay? All I hear is wah, 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 fucking wah, bro. And the thing is that you've gotten away with doing this for your entire adult life because no one's told you the truth. Bro, you are blessed, okay? With all the flaws and all, you are blessed compared to 99% of the world population. You have running water, my friend, and access to food, electricity, and a shelter.
10
I don't want to
fingers
hear
and
none of that
2
shit. There's people right now that are in wheelchairs. There's people that are crippled. There's people that have serious defects. You're a nice guy. You're healthy, right? To a degree, healthy enough to work, healthy enough to make YouTube videos, healthy enough to become famous to a degree where people recognize you. Count your blessings, bro. Stop making excuses for your failures. There's no excuse for you to have shitty credit at 43 years old. We have a playlist on here that we tell guys how to get their credit up on point, man. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different things you could do, and we could talk about it behind the scenes, obviously, because it's a little bit more involved than what I can talk about here. But, bro, I need you to stop looking at the have-nots and start looking at the haves that you have. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're depressed, because you're looking at what you don't have. What you need to start looking at is what you do have. Your whole perception of reality is fucked up because you're looking at the glass as half empty. And that's typically what losers do. And we're trying to get you into a winner's mindset. Okay?
It's all the mindset.
I feel
No, I don't want to hear no I feel or none of that fucking shit.
Merch.
The reality is that you need to change, Skippy. And I know this is hard to hear. It's hard. I try, and I'm going easy on you too. You know what I'm saying? But you've overcome some really good. You've overcome some adversity with the addiction, and everything else like that. You need to take that same, like that same veracity with overcoming that addiction. You need to apply it to other endeavors in your life, with finances, with fitness, etc. I don't want to hear no excuses, man. You're in a first world country. You live in the United States. You got running water. You got food. You got everything, bro.